Guía del Hater. Cuidado con los spoilers.
Thank you much, guys, for the interview, first of all.
Thank you.
I have seen only 20 minutes, but
how'd you like it?
I love it. But the thing is, like, I bet it's a movie that put a lot of good ideas, very interesting subjects on the table. That's the perception I have of it. No? Do you agree with me?
I don't think Greta could do any movie without having it chock full of ideas. She is so smart and her thought process is so dynamic that she actually can deliver a Barbie movie and within it hold an amazing summer soundtrack and ideas worth writing a dissertation on and, you know, characters and looks and an aesthetic that can incite this sort of global fever that we're feeling right now. I agree. It's full of ideas and it's full of a lot of things, but that's Greta. She's so dynamic herself as a filmmaker. I don't think she could have made a movie any other way.
It's a very smart thing to do because the whole thing seems to be like an entertaining movie, which is fine, no, to have fun. But underneath, you can find something else.
It is like a party that everyone's invited to, but
Yeah.
in the sense that it's a party, it's you can either spend your time having conversations with people or you can just dance.
How do you begin to create a character like this? I can't imagine, you know what I mean? How do you start as an actor?
You start with a great script, and Greta and Noah wrote a brilliant script and wrote brilliant characters and gave us both really amazing journeys to go on with our characters. Sometimes you can kind of feel that your character is existing to push a storyline forward, but in this instance, it feels like what our characters are trying to reckon with is what is driving the story and the journey that they go on. I think it's interesting too because the way Greta and Noah write, they don't actually beat out the whole thing and then write it. They write themselves into corners and then they write themselves out of corners. So the whole thing unfolds more chronologically than I think a lot of writers approach a script, which is just fascinating. But I think that helps you have that feeling where you're not ahead of the story and you are being driven by what the characters are feeling or trying to understand at the time. So yes, I mean, it is very fun and there's a lot of silly comedy and things like that in it, but there is also really good character journeys. And if we hadn't had that so clear on the page, I wouldn't have known where to begin with creating a Barbie character.
The tone of it seems very peculiar. What dictates the tone of a movie? The script, the director, or your co-stars?
I think everything.
I think every film is different.
Yeah.
On this film, it was, you know, I came into it obviously late in the game because Margot was there first and this is her sort of, you know, brainchild, but it's also, you know, it's so specific to whatever Greta and Margot decided this should be. It was like something about their connection that's so specific to them that the specificity of that sort of dictated everything else.
It has a very theatrical, I think, the tone is always, in a great script, I think it's kind of evident, but then it also evolves when it starts becoming 3D, not 2D, and that is through everyone that comes on board, whether it's Ryan, other cast members, production designer, cinematographer. Every ingredient that's added is giving it the dimension and the shape, and that is further kind of solidifying what the tone is. And the tone of this film is more like zany and there's a theatrical element to it in a big way. And I think that initial idea was from the fact that Barbie was invented in 1959 and Greta loves, you know, these 50s soundstage musicals, and there's something very obviously artificial about those worlds that you see in a soundstage musical. And since we're leaning into the world of play and toys, that kind of went hand in hand. And so I think there were a lot of things like that where we could ground it in, you know, an initial idea and build out from there. Okay, so if everything's going to be obviously artificial, that's going to kind of, the design of the sets and the costumes and the hair and makeup is kind of going to feed off that. And even how big we act in this, you know, the comedy's big, the physical comedy is big. Again, there's something quite obviously theatrical about it, and I think it really did come with that first rooting it in a 50s soundstage musical, amongst other things, because Greta can pull references from anywhere.
Everything.
She can pull it from a TikTok video, she can pull it from a YouTube thing that went viral 6 years ago, she can pull it from the most recent article in the New Yorker, she can pull it from a movie that was made 100 years ago. Her references are so expansive and specific. And again, I think that'll help kind of crafts this very specific tone that you feel in the movie.
I also think disco sort of permeated
Disco
everything.
for sure, yeah.
Just Greta likes to say disco assumes that you want to dance, and I think the film does the same. But there were a lot of disco references, just the whole energy of disco, the community of it, the atmosphere, the inclusivity of it. It just feels like that.
Yeah.
Would you?
Totally. Disco.
I
is
can't
a big
wait
reference.
to see the whole film.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to see
Thank
it
you
too.
much for the glasses, my friend.
You're rocking
You
I
them.
look
Goes
straight
with
up
the
disco right
jacket.
now.
Yeah.
Thank you much. Have a lot of tequila.
Very
Scott.
cute.